Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Empressive channel. I want to talk about the Grammy nominations because there's a lot to get into with that. But before I do, I first want to talk about Tyla because Tyla dropped a video for her single Push to Start. I do like the song Push to Start, even though it kind of sounds like another variation of Water. Moving forward, I definitely think she needs to experiment with more sounds and kind of move into the pop direction as well, because pop music is where it's at, it seems. But I do like the song Push to Start, and I really like the video as well. It was cute, and it was definitely reminiscent of something Beyonce or Rihanna would have done. And I really now see the vision that her team has for her. They're trying to push her into this Beyonce, Rihanna, Shakira, and even an Aaliyah mold. Those are the artists that they want her to kind of pattern herself after, I think. And they're eager to fill in that void that Rihanna is leaving, because Rihanna is done with music right now. Based off of her latest speech, I could tell that she's checked out completely and she only cares about selling her products.
And I always say music was the thing that got the attention. But God had other plans for me, and I was able to create in ways that were like very sincere and genuine or organic and authentic to the things that I love.
Yeah. Don't nobody want to hear about that. Just kidding. I'm happy for Rihanna. She seems like she's in a much happier place, just relaxing and just being a businesswoman. But her leaving the music industry is definitely creating a void. So Tyla's team is trying to fill that void. And also, they want her to follow that Beyonce lane too. Now, Beyonce is still an active artist. She's a legend, so nobody is going to come for her spot or replace her ever. But she's older, and what the industry does is they try to look for younger, fresher talent that is reminiscent of the artists we've seen in the past. For example, we've seen the industry try to push Take McRae as the next Britney Spears. They initially tried to make Ariana Grande become the next Mariah Carey. They initially were trying to push Olivia Rodrigo as the next Taylor Swift, but Taylor wasn't having that. But there is a pattern. They're always looking for the next superstar. And it's clear that the industry wants Tyla to be the next superstar of color, and they're going to follow that Beyonce, Rihanna, and Aaliyah blueprint. But I do think it's important for her to have her own identity and not use their mood boards too often. There's nothing wrong with taking inspiration, but I still want her to have her own identity as well. And she does have her own identity, but I hope her team doesn't take her off of her path to follow somebody else's path, if that makes sense. Now, I want to move on and talk a little bit about the scammies. So every year, the Grammys always has some controversy because when they announce the nomination, there are always artists who are getting snubbed. And this time, there were a lot of artists who were snubbed this year who I felt should have been nominated. But of course, I know how things go in the Grammys. It's a very political game. They have to campaign for it. They have to meet with the Grammy board and establish connections with the people on the voting committee. And in some situations, their labels and their teams have to pay for nominations. Let's talk about it. And others simply have to have the name and they'll get nominated. If they've been in the industry long enough and they paid their dues and have a big enough name, they will get nominated. That's how it goes. But for those artists who don't have those things working in their favor, they simply will have a hard time getting recognized. And it is what it is. Now, I do want to congratulate a few artists who got nominated. First of all, congratulations to Muni Long. She got nominated in 3 R&B categories, and this is well deserved. She's been in the industry for over a decade, and she's been making noise, and her album Revenge was good. Not to mention her hit Made For Me made a lot of noise. So she absolutely deserves to be nominated, and I hope she wins. Also, congratulations to Beyonce. She walked away with the most nominations this year for her album Cowboy Carter. She is now the most nominated artist in Grammy Awards history. She even beat her husband Jay-Z's record. So she got a lot of nominations this year, but the question is, will she win in those big categories like Album of the Year, Song of the Year, and Record of the Year? I will say the competition is pretty stiff. And I do know that the Grammys typically nominate her just to get her to show up every year. But will they actually give her an award in these 3 categories? I don't know. I don't know, but I don't foresee her walking away empty-handed because she got 11 nominations. So she going home with something.
I'm leaving here with something. You know what I mean? I'm from around the way. I'm leaving with something.
Also, Kendrick Lamar got several nominations this year, including Record of the Year for Not Like Us, Song of the Year for Not Like Us. He got several nominations in different rap categories. I mean, he basically got nominated for dissing Drake, which is kind of messed up when you think about it. Like, dang. But Drake stopped caring about the Grammys. He doesn't even submit his songs to the Grammys. So I guess the committee was okay with nominating all of Kendrick's diss songs towards Drake. But, you know, Kendrick is a Grammys darling. His label TDE has connections with the committee, so he's always going to get nominated. And I'm not mad at it. You know, Kendrick held it down for the hip hop community this year. So congrats to him. Now, I was surprised to see Chris Brown get recognized in some of these Grammy categories too, because I thought the Grammys blackballed him, but congrats to him. Also, congratulations to Lucky Day, because he got recognized in several categories for his album Algorithm, and this is well deserved as well. His album is definitely one of my favorite albums of the year. It was amazing, so I do hope he walks away with something. Also, I saw Coco Jones got a nomination for her song Here We Go for Best R&B Performance. And since Coco already won a Grammy, the board is familiar with her, so she's going to continue to get acknowledged in these areas, which is good. And congratulations to Tems too. She got nominated a few times. I really enjoyed her album Born in the Wild, and I definitely think she deserves to be acknowledged. I hope she also walks away with at least something. Another surprise to me is Doechii getting nominated. She got nominated in 4 different categories, which is a big deal for her. Obviously, TDE has some pull, so I think they secured those Grammy noms for her, but she deserves it. So hopefully she gets a chance to win something. I would like her to win an award with K Trinata and JT for Best Remix Recording. That would be cool for her and JT to win something. That would be great. But yeah, I mean, congratulations to all the other nominees. I'm not tripping or hating on anybody who got nominated, but we do have to talk about the people who were snubbed, because the disrespect was a little too loud in this one. Now, I do know some people don't submit their albums, and that's cool. Some people don't care to be acknowledged by the Grammys. However, it's pretty standard for labels to submit songs on their artist's behalf to the Grammys. And I was surprised that several artists were not acknowledged. You know, I think Normani should have been acknowledged for her Dopamine album. This album is still one of my favorite drops of the year, and I feel like she was robbed. She was. Also, Tinashe was robbed. You know, she had a good year. I thought she would have gotten nominated as well, at least for her song Nasty. But, you know, Tinashe is independent, so I don't know how much pull she has at these award shows. But yeah, she was snubbed as well. I think Ayra Starr was snubbed for her album The Year I Turned 21. I think Chloe Bailey was snubbed. Like, she didn't get any nominations for her album Trouble in Paradise. And I have to kind of look at her team a little sideways for real, because Chloe is signed to Parkwood, which is Beyonce's management company / label. She's also under the Columbia umbrella. So I think if Beyonce could secure 11 nominations, she should have been able to help Chloe secure 1. Chloe has been nominated with Halle 4 times in the past, but now she can't get 1 nomination. That's weird. And Chloe did react to it. She seemed disappointed, but she wasn't surprised either. I could tell.
Okay, so I think they announced all my categories. Didn't get nothing this year, but that's all right. The music was still great. Go stream Trouble in Paradise. Yeah.
Ravyn Lenae was another artist who did not receive any nominations. She released an album called Bird's Eye, and I love this album. This album was on repeat for me. I loved Love is Blind, Candy, the song she has with Ty Dolla $ign, Dream Girl. Like, everything was just a vibe. I think some of her songs would have worked well in the progressive R&B categories, but she was snubbed as well. And she definitely made the deadline, so her not getting nominated just tells me that, you know, they didn't care to acknowledge her. And when an artist doesn't have the investment or the connections or the popularity, they typically will go under the radar. Tyla was snubbed as well, which was a surprise to me. And I did hear that her label was trying to submit her songs to the R&B categories, but it did not fit because her music is more Afrobeat, more Amapiano. So I don't know. I think her label made a mistake in the categories they selected her to be nominated in. She should have been nominated in the African categories, the global categories. I think she would have had a better shot to actually win another Grammy, but she was completely snubbed this time, which was surprising to me. Another artist who was surprisingly snubbed was Megan Thee Stallion. This was a surprise to me because Megan actually had a big year this year. She had some hits. She absolutely should have been nominated. There's no question about it. But I'm not going to put all the blame on the Grammys this time. I'm looking at her team. Why didn't Roc Nation secure those nominations for Megan? That's what I want to know. Because this is not the first time she was snubbed from an award show this year. In fact, she was snubbed from the BET Hip Hop Awards as well. Like, you got to understand, an artist like Megan, who has the type of machine she has behind her, should not be getting snubbed. She already is a 3-time Grammy Award winner. So the Grammy committee is familiar with her. She has the connections, the Jay-Z connection, Beyonce connection, the Roc Nation connection. She has the funding. So her not getting nominated means to me that she did not submit her music to the Grammys, or maybe her team did not secure it for her. But she absolutely should have been nominated. That is a snub. And I wonder if this was intentionally done to create outrage over this because, you know, outrage marketing is a thing. So I wonder if her team just didn't do it so her name could kind of be in the headlines over this. I don't know what the reason is, but she was snubbed. Megan was snubbed. And I have a hard time believing that the Grammys would just reject her. So I'm looking at her team. There was something that they didn't do. Now, I do want to talk about Nicki Minaj not getting nominated. And this is no surprise because Nicki is actually blackballed from the Grammys. The Grammys played in her face last year by announcing she won a Grammy for Barbie World, only for them to retract it and give it to Killer Mike. I mean, it was just disrespectful. She's never won an award, and this has been intentional because somebody working at the Grammys hates her. So her getting snubbed is actually an injustice at this point. But her label did submit songs from her album Pink Friday too, and her album was definitely the best-selling female rap album. It was one of the best-selling rap albums of the year, period. But of course, she got snubbed. So that lets you know something. It's nothing with her team. It has more to do with the Grammys. They just don't want to give it to her. But she did announce that she's releasing a deluxe album called The Hiatus on December 13th this year. So not getting nominated isn't going to slow Nicki down one bit. She's going to continue to get all the sales, all the streams. The numbers don't lie, folks. The numbers will never lie. So she doesn't need to be validated by a Grammy. Some people need that validation, but an artist like Nicki Minaj does not. Now, I did see a lot of people were upset that Ariana Grande was snubbed in some of the major categories. You know, Ariana did receive some nominations in the pop categories, but when it came to Album of the Year, Song of the Year, and Record of the Year, she was snubbed and her fans were not happy about it. They really thought that her song, We Can't Be Friends, should have been acknowledged because it was a #1 hit. It was one of the bigger pop hits this year, but I will say this. The competition in the pop categories are very stiff. They're very stiff. And she's going up against a lot of the heavy hitters like Taylor Swift, Billie Eilish, Lady Gaga, Bruno Mars, you know, Beyonce, Kendrick Lamar even, who had a big year this year. Like, the competition is stiff. And not to mention even some of the, I guess, newer pop girls, I could say, like Chappell Roan, Sabrina Carpenter, Charlie XCX. You know, they've been around, but they had a breakout year this year. So the competition is stiff. And this doesn't mean that Ariana can't compete, but Ariana has noticeably put her music on the backseat and has focused more on acting this year. So I wonder if this has anything to do with her not really being nominated in those big categories. But she did get nominated in some of the pop ones, and a win is a win, okay? She wasn't completely snubbed. And one of the categories she was nominated in is Best Pop Duo. She actually has a nomination with Brandy and Monica for the Boy Is Mine remix. And this is a cool moment because Brandy and Monica only won 1 Grammy in their career, and that was for their song The Boy Is Mine. So I think it would be a cool full circle moment if they got another Grammy together with Ariana Grande. That would be amazing. Ariana and 2 R&B legends winning together. That would be so great. I would be here for that. Anyway, that wraps it up for the Scammies. Are y'all excited about it? Tell me what y'all think about this video down below. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video if you care. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.